Kevin Hester, you are ridiculous.
The Bears are who we thought they were. And that's why we took the damn field. Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
Shut up. See that? That's your IQ, buddy. 0.
Hungry Chicago, finally champions on this January day in New Orleans.
This is the Barely Qualified Podcast with your hosts, Nick Labris, Jason Maxwell, and Drew Bailey.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Barely Qualified, Season 2, Episode 2. I am Drew Bailey, and with me, as always, is Nick Labris and Jason Maxwell. So for the first time, boys, we are going live on YouTube right now. Twitch will come later. I just want to let everybody know that it's been a long time coming with video with us, so I appreciate your patience. You all wanted to see our pretty faces. We've heard about it. You know, I get it, but we're here. And if you want to find more of those links, we'll send out link trees. We have a lot of stuff, new stuff coming for you this season. So really appreciate you guys. What I really want to start off with tonight, boys, is shot you guys a new concept and kind of sponsoring this show with it. And it's really around fantasy football because it's fantasy football season and football season. So really quick, I just want to read something for you guys. Do you guys want to play fantasy football against the Barely Qualified boys and have the opportunity to win an exclusive Barely Qualified prize pack? You're in luck. You're in luck with this year because we're going to give 15 of you a shot to take us down in the Barely Qualified Guillotine League presented by Yahoo Sports. Those 15 of you will draft on a live show that we'll discuss a little bit in the future. It should be August 28th or the week of. And if you're not familiar with the rules of a Guillotine League, we'll go over them a little bit later in our fantasy section. So you can sign up through a link that we will provide in all of our socials, and we have live right now on our YouTube. And it's going to be first come, first serve. So register as soon as you can, introduce yourself, talk a little smack. We always love to hear that. And it's going to be a great year for all boys, girls, listeners, everyone for the Barely Qualified podcast and for our new Guillotine League presented by Yahoo Sports. So that's what I'm excited for coming forward. We had our first preseason game, the Chicago Bears did, and I'm going to kick it over to Nick Labris. Talk to us a little bit about the game, the preseason game that we had this weekend. Talk to us a little bit about Bears. Be our resident expert a little bit for us here.
I know. Bears played football this week, and that was fun to see. You know, we haven't seen the Bears take the field in a while, so it was awesome to see the Bears out there playing football. Let's just dive in, right? I mean, one thing that jumped out to me was I really liked how the defense played. I thought they played really hard. They gave up some big plays, they gave up some yards, but they really stepped up and had like that goal line stand. Really jumped out to me. It was one of the big things that I noticed. Is really I just liked, and I mean, we're going to get into this a little bit when we talk about Ben Johnson, but just like how into the game and how animated he was on the sidelines just really pumped me up. I don't know. What about you guys? Is there anything that you guys saw from the preseason game that like really jumped out to you?
Nick, I'll take a stab at this one. Like you said, the energy was there, and that's what you want to see. I mean, you get to see second string, third string guys, but it was being attacked like it was a game day. It was nice to see a non-milquetoast head coach, a non-flus-like head coach, someone who actually wanted to be there coaching men and playing football, and that was really nice to see. It was nice to see the defense go and have a run against starters. Miami ran out Tua and Achane and some of their starters. So that was fun to see how they can kind of size up in a preseason game against some starters, a QB1, and get a look. It's preseason game one. I would be lying if I said I was fully amped up, knowing that we weren't starting our starters. But it was good to see, cleats on the turf and Soldier Field kind of doing its thing. So, yeah, I mean, That's what I got from my first take. I still need to kind of get warmed up to football being back. I think I'll get warmed up once I see Caleb on the field, right? I'm a hard guy to please, I suppose, but it was nice to see some pads on, some hits happening, and some coaching happening.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. I mean, it's hard to get excited about watching Tyson Bagent, however you want to say it, like trot out there and lead the offense against them with some receivers that, are going to be fighting for like reps on Sundays. So it's not something that really like gets you amped up, right, for football season. But again, they're playing football. They're wearing the Bears uniforms, playing Soldier Field. It's exciting. So, Drew, is there anything on the offensive side of the ball that you saw that like really intrigued you, or anything that like any thoughts on the offensive side of the ball?
I put into sort of the breakdown here a couple of the offensive players, like Tyson Bagent. Did he wrap up QB2 for us? I actually don't know, because looking at the stat sheet, Case Keenum went 10 for 18 with 2 touchdowns, and 80 yards. I'm sorry, 10 for 18, 8 for 10. My fault. And he really good game. I think it's Tyson Bagent's job. I don't think that Case Keenum is anything but a game manager at this point in his career, and probably going against 3s or 4s helped him. Yeah. Kyle Monangai runs hard, and that's a good thing to see early in the season, because right now Roshan's a little banged up, and seemingly has always been banged up as a Bear. So it's nice to have that hard-nosed runner that can change pace. He's not going to have big runs. He's not going to have the chunk yardage runs that DeAndre Swift can have. So, but it's good. It's a good 1-2 punch to have in your back pocket. So those are a couple of the good things. And then obviously Cairo hit a 57-yarder.
That's awesome.
I texted you guys right away. Check him for steroids. That guy's going to get put away, because there's no way he can do that.
Yeah, I've never seen him do that, and he hit that with yards to spare too. That could have been good from 62. I swear. What's going on?
I thought the thing on him was that he could barely hit like a 50-yarder, and now he's out here hitting 57 or like whatever. Like, that's crazy. I don't know. I'm happy to see it.
Maybe that's the key to the Ben Johnson offense. A little steroids in the Gatorade. Who knows?
I'll take it. Yeah,
MJ's
absolutely.
secret stuff, BJ's secret stuff.
No, but Drew, I'm glad you touched on the quarterbacks, because I agree with you. I think this job is Tyson Bagent's to lose, and not even to lose. I think it's his job, period. I do think when you got a guy with such experience in the league like Case Keenum has, like, he's bounced around a lot. He's been a backup a lot. He had a really good year in Minnesota the year they went to the NFC Championship game. He's the kind of guy you could totally see being into coaching later in his life, right? Like he's the classic, like, journeyman quarterback who's going to probably be a pretty good coach someday. I read an interview where he like loves Chicago. He said there's teams calling to trade for him. Probably not a lot, obviously. And he wants to stay in Chicago. So are you like, if he's willing to be like the QB3 or the emergency quarterback, I mean, I think that'd be awesome for like the room, having him in the room with Caleb. I think that would just add to Caleb's experience, like getting better, like progression this season under Ben Johnson, now having Case Keenum in the room with you guys. So I don't know. I read that. Maybe I'm being a little gullible and thinking that he's willing to be the QB3. I don't know, but I definitely think that would be really good for the Bears.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you got playmakers, you got the Caleb freak athletes that can just get stuff done, and you got game managers and guys that are good between the ears, and cases that the latter there. That's not a bad place to be for a QB3. Yeah. I agree with you guys, though. I mean, Bagent's QB2. That's just locked in my opinion. And he looked well. He looked good. It looked like he could command the playbook. I don't think that we saw a whole lot of creativity from the Ben Johnson playbook in preseason game 1. That's okay. But he looked competent, and that's what you want to see in a QB2. That's what you want to see in a QB3. There's no shortage of need for good backups because people are going to get injured. Caleb's probably going to miss a game or two. That's just the reality of it. He gets hit hard. He gets hit a lot. So having those guys lined up is a good place.
Yeah, absolutely. So is there any, like, so I know we have written, like, my guy who I love, Austin Booker, is just having Drew. You wrote it down here. He's a preseason Hall of Famer. Last year, he was one of the stars of Hard Knocks. He lit up the preseason. He had how many sacks? 2 sacks in this game.
I think it was 3.
Three tackles for loss. 3 tackles for loss. 1 sack. 4 quarterback hits and a forced fumble.
Yeah.
Pretty good game for a defensive end. Is any of this going to translate to the regular season? I know last year when the Bears got Austin Booker and he lit the world on fire during the preseason, he wasn't going to be a superstar in the NFL because he's a project. We're seeing his raw athleticism at work against some of like the backups. When you get to like starting level tackles in the NFL, you're probably not going to have as much dominance just on pure athleticism. But year 2, he looks the same in preseason. Do we think any of this is going to translate to the regular season? Do we think we have a legitimate rotational defensive end outside Montez Sweat? I don't think he's going to be an every down guy. I don't know how he plays against the run. He definitely can play against the pass, though. So do you guys think this is a legitimate guy you can throw out there on 3rd and long and say, go get the quarterback? Or do you think he's still a project, kind of like maybe down the line he might be something? And Drew, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I think you got to give him a shot to at least go against the 1s and 2s. I mean, he lines up on the second team in the Bears depth chart. So I don't know if that's too early to determine, but that's where he would be. So I think there's going to be a good rotation of seeing him through the beginning of the season. And that's what he deserves for at least the start of what you've seen from him and where you drafted him. And like you said, Nick, his raw athleticism, where I concern myself is with him is he going to be in the second rotation? Is he going to be just a 3rd down play? Is he going to be, where it's guaranteed passing, you run him out there? Because I don't think he can really guard against the run. I think he gets pushed back too often, and if he can't speed rush the outside or make a swim move on the inside or turn in on the inside, he's outmatched. So he's gonna get run. Let's see if he is just a preseason Hall of Famer. But he deserves the run for what he's done over the last 2 seasons in the preseason. And if they don't use him again, then we're starting to question what Dennis Allen is thinking about him or his reputation, or that they're seeing that he's paper mache in practice or getting pushed around. So we'll see. He deserves it from just the limited run he's gotten in preseason, but we'll see. Smarter people than us make those decisions for sure.
Yeah, you're right. They are the smarter ones, and they also like see him every day in practice. We watch him flash some signs on, a preseason game and say this guy needs to be starting, right? But they see him in practice every day. So I don't know. Jay, gonna kick it over to you now. Okay, so talked about Austin Booker. Another person Drew has highlighted here, who I also thought I referenced it earlier when I talked about like what the first thing that jumped out to me was that defensive stand at the beginning of the game. Noah Sewell played a big role in that, being the linebacker that he got the tackle on 4th down. Noah Sewell is an interesting guy. He is not listed as a starter right now, but last season we did talk about how Tremaine Edmonds is kind of trending downwards. Do you think Noah Sewell's a guy who could end up cracking the start? I know we're in preseason week 1, but give us a break. We need to talk about something. Do we think Noah Sewell is going to get some run, maybe at like starting linebacker, if Tremaine Edmonds' decline continues?
Yeah, I think that's a legitimate possibility. I do. I think that he's incredibly athletic, and he's just where the ball is. And I think that's very attractive for a new defensive coordinator. You want a linebacker that's active, that knows where the ball is, that knows how to hit the hole, knows how to make a tackle. And he showed that he was able to do that. I don't know what more you could really want. I think you hit it right on the head. I mean, we were talking a lot last year. Edmonds is like, oh, he's lost a step or half a step. And that's all you need to lose to have your job at jeopardy for someone that's hungry, younger, and has a nose for the ball. So I we'll see what happens, obviously, but I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if he overtook that starting linebacker position by week 4, 5, because he looks active, he looks hungry, and man, that's what you want. You want that. So it's a nice piece to have. It's a really nice piece to have competition for people, in linebackers that are veterans that are looking over their shoulder a little bit. Maybe I got to play a little harder. Maybe I got to try a little harder. Maybe I got to, watch a little more film. That's good, healthy competition. Something that I love to see. From a preseason game 1, that's what I had my eyes on. Obviously, the Austin Booker stuff is fun to talk about. It is, but that's the one that I want to highlight. So I appreciate you throwing that my way.
Oh yeah, of course. I'm glad that worked out that way. And another linebacker I thought was interesting is this rookie Ruben Hippolyte, right, out of Maryland. Did a little bit of research on it. He played a lot of football at Maryland, a lot of football. He played for 5 years. He was a 5-year college player. He had like the COVID exemption or whatever. He didn't play a lot his freshman year, but besides that, he pretty much started every game for 4 years. Now, he didn't really flash a ton. He did make some plays. He didn't do anything terrible, I didn't think, but I think that's a guy to watch looking forward. That's a guy that knows how to play the position. You get him coached up in their scheme, and you make and I think that's a guy you're looking at as a starting linebacker in the next couple of years too. He just looks the part. Like I said, he's played a lot of football. He had, let me look at it. I have it written down here. He had 236 tackles in 50 games in college. Like that's crazy. So I think he's a guy that you look at in the future and say, okay, I think the Bears might have found something there. But
yeah, I mean, he slots right now as the strong side linebacker in a 4-3. So I think you've got two spots being fought for in the linebacking core. TJ Edwards ain't going nowhere. Tremaine Edmonds just aging.
yeah.
I think he can still be solid as a weak side, but I think, like Jay said, Noah Sewell's coming for his job, even though he slots as the number 2 strong side linebacker. I'm sure it's not incredibly difficult to slot him over, especially if you need some athleticism with the big boys that are going to be up front on that four-person D line. So it's nice to see. It's nice to see some athleticism from that linebacking core, where it seems like over the past couple of years they've been a little bit slow, a little bit stagnant. It's nice to get an injection of youth and young blood into there for sure.
Yeah. Drew and Nick, just to kind of piggyback off of that too, we're Bears fans. We grew up knowing linebacker play and Urlacher, Briggs, all these guys, and Hippolyte seems like one of those guys who you're not going to get hit soft by him. You take one look at him and be like, I don't want to get hit by him. I'd love to see some run out of him. I wouldn't be surprised if he got some good run too. I don't think he's gonna. I mean, he's a rookie, right? But it looks like it might be a really good draft pick and get some run when an injury comes up, whatever that is. But I have confidence from the limited game film that we saw preseason game 1 that he's an NFL player.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. Like I said, I think in the future, I think that's a guy you can, we got some youth, which we needed. And I think that's a good thing. So, I don't know. I mean, outside of that, I mean, the O-line looked okay. That the ones that played, we talked about Kyle Monungai already. He had a pretty decent game. He was averaging around 5 yards a carry. You like to see that out of a 7th round pick. Kind of interesting that Kyle Monungai was the number 1 running back in the game, even though he's listed as last in the depth chart. But I think a lot of that has to do with Travis Homer is probably your 3rd string running back, but he's more of a special team guy. So you don't really want him taking a ton of carries if you don't need to. See what the young guy can do. But I thought he did a lot with his opportunity though, so I thought that was cool to see. So we talked about the quarterbacks, talked about the running backs. Is there anybody else that kind of jumped off the page at you that made you think about, maybe that's a guy? Jay, anybody jump out at you?
So there's a couple guys that I had circled. It was fun to see Loveland in action. Watching Big Ten football in that offense that he was in, it was hard to kind of be like, oh, this is the guy we talked about there during the draft. Like Loveland, 10th overall, what the hell? You see him against other NFL players. It's like, oh, I can buy into this. That's a big dude. That's a big dude, athletic dude. That's going to be a fun weapon. Luther Burden getting a couple catches in there. That could be a bad dude too. That's the one that I had circled. And we talked about that again plenty of times, but seeing him in an NFL uniform, running NFL routes, catching NFL passes made me a little bit excited. I'm not going to lie. Optimism's a little too hard. And the last one that I had circled, Ian Wheeler, I saw him back on the field was fun. Gave me some nostalgia to the Hard Knocks and all that sympathetic story of him getting carted off the field. But it was nice to see that little comeback for him. And maybe he can carve out a spot. Who knows? But that's what I had. Yeah,
that was cool. I agree. I kind of forgot about him up until he came into the game. Like, oh yeah, that was one of the. I mean, it was a sad part of Hard Knocks, but it was one of the most memorable parts of Hard Knocks last year. With that being said, I did forget it, but it was still. Once I reminded him, like, oh yeah, that was a really really interesting part of Hard Knocks. So yeah, that was a good call. I didn't even mention that. So yeah, Drew, anything that really stood out to you besides what we've already touched on?
I'm gonna jump to the opposing team here.
Okay,
and
let's do it.
Not that we really need to go into what was there, but Quinn Ewers went 5 for 18, boys, in a preseason game with pretty much a half of play. I think he just played his hand out of the NFL. Definitely a practice team. UFL.
I don't even know if he's a practice team. I mean, he looked terrible.
He looked really bad.
He looked real bad.
And a lot of people had him as like a sleeper for like a possible down the line starter. I mean, it's the first time in the NFL, but man, that was, the NFL is all about making the best of your opportunities, and he is not off to a great start with that. He did not do that.
Yeah, the lights were brighter in college for him at every stadium that he played in. So what that either screams to me is he can't understand a NFL offense, or he doesn't mesh with people that he hasn't been with for multiple years. And that's scary to any NFL organization seeing coming in. Like, that screams, go home, kid. It's not your game.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the Dolphins backup quarterbacks, I mean, Zach Wilson looks equally as like he looks like he's never played in the. I mean, we all saw him play with the Jets and he was terrible, but like that guy out there was like he shouldn't be on an NFL roster. He looks terrible. I don't know. Like the Dolphins need a strong backup quarterback. Tua is going to miss 4 or 5 games this year. We already know it. It's already written into the script. We know it's going to happen.
Yep.
If I'm a Dolphins fan, I am smashing the panic button right now just because I know we're going to be missing Tua for a 4-game stretch at least, and one of those two is going to play quarterback for me, and we are going to lose all those games.
Yeah, not where you want to be. I mean, Zach Wilson as their QB2 is laughably bad, and he did not look good. He still didn't look good. So
yeah, and go ahead, Drew.
But I was just going to say the other thing is, like you said about Tua being injured, wasn't a great look for their offensive line, giving up 6 sacks in the first preseason game. I know, again, we're in the preseason, but they did start their starters, and he gave up 6 sacks. So, Tua better be moving those feet.
Yeah. Also, just another point about Zach Wilson. I feel like if you're going to be a quarterback wearing number 0, you have to not be terrible. And I don't know. Like, I can just already see Tua's out, Zach Wilson starting. He has a horrible game, and just like the memes about him wearing number 0 and having a quarterback rating of 0 and whatever the case may be. So I can just already see it happening. You got to wear a different number. But anyway. That's just okay. So talked about the actual game. let's talk about the elephant in the room. The Bears chose not to start any of their starters. I heard a point this week that I hadn't thought of prior, and it kind of made me feel a little bit better about it, but I still didn't quite feel great about it. The point was that the Bears had a joint practice with the Dolphins all week. The ones played their ones like all week in practice, so the 40, 50 reps he got during practice is what really they got out of the ones playing this week, and the 6 to 12 reps they would have got in the preseason really don't amount to much. But the Dolphins threw their starters out there. I still think there's value to be had in like going through the game day process and playing in a real game with the uniforms on against their other team. So I kind of was like, okay, that kind of makes sense. But then I kind of realized like halfway, like, no, actually, I still would have rather see them play a series. So Jay, I assume you're still on the same page. You want to see the starters out there, right?
I do. I did all of that. I think, what I went through across all the box scores of preseason week 1 is what teams played their starters for a series or two. It was half the league. It was literally half the league. So, we talked about this too. I think that there is still this feel out period for coaches of we have 3 games. When are we playing our starters? Yeah, I heard rumors in press conferences from Ben Johnson saying like, the playbook was a bastard, so we're not running our starters out there, stuff like that. That's a little bit alarming. That's not a good reason to not play your starters. I just can't imagine a coach or a player or anyone saying, what's better for a new offense and a young quarterback who wasn't great last year is not getting additional reps in a game situation. Yeah. I totally get that. The vibe of, okay, well, they played in their practices. Practices aren't games. Practices aren't games. You don't get hit hard as a quarterback in a practice. You wear a red jersey there. Right.
And on top of that, like you're in a practice field outside, like in like a middle of nowhere, no one's watching. Right. You got your practice. Like there's something about being on Soldier Field or being on a real NFL field, playing against another team in their uniform. Like you can't practice that. Like you go to practice, you work hard, but then like like the game is going to be like at least a step above that. You can't practice. You can't mimic a game speed in practice, no matter how intense of a practice you have. You can't mimic game speed. So I agree with you 100%.
Agreed. I think it only accelerates the need for it with a new playbook. I really do. It's like you can't go into the season with rust. The opposition, the argument against it would be risk of injury. I mean, we saw what happened with Anthony Richardson. His hand exploded. That's a bummer. That's what you don't want to have happen. But you have to take that, in my opinion, with Caleb and with the Bears in this situation that we are in as Bears fans, we need to see those reps because Caleb hasn't proved anything yet. In fact, he's proved that he needs additional reps, in my opinion, and he's not getting them yet. And so, let's see how long he plays. I mean, let's see how long he plays in game 2. But Drew, I'm not going to hog all of the airtime. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I'm just going to play devil's advocate with you guys here just because yes, I want to see him. We all do. It's there, but nothing derails a season quicker than a major injury right away in game 1. Like, I know everybody's not coming after people like it is the regular season, but at the same time, something freak happens. We all know our turf is the worst in the league. Something happens, and I can't blame Ben Johnson necessarily for taking it a little bit conservatively at the start and having, showing his intensity towards things, towards coaching, all of that. That's good. But if something would have happened, we can play the what if game, then you're definitely going to get put on the spot of why did you play him? Why did you do it? Why did you do that and potentially ruin your season if someone big gets injured? So I'm okay with it. I want to see him. I think we're all just itching to see it and itching to get them out there to see how it meshes with this new system. And yes, I agree. Try to get as much exposure to the real game situation in this new system, in this young offense. But guys, again, I I pulled up. We were just scrolling along before we started the show. Like, these are still a bunch of young guys. So I think this system has a lot of time to take towards it. The oldest person on the starting squad projected is Joe Tooney, and he's 32. Everybody else isn't above 30. They're in their mid 20s. So yeah, they're going to have time. They're going to have time to mesh and multiple years to do that. So I don't want to just have that derailed by a major injury. And that's why I'm okay with it. I think we're all just itching to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the injury thing is obviously the one big thing, like, it's always there. You don't want anyone to get injured in the preseason. But I will say the play, like, not knowing the playbook I think that's bullshit because, I mean, it's preseason. Ben Johnson's not going to throw his A game against the wall in a preseason game. They're gonna run vanilla offense, and they're gonna just get some reps. They're not gonna do all the fancy incredibly complex stuff that Ben Johnson has in his brain. It's going to be a lot of like single back, maybe shotgun, and simple route, nothing crazy. So I don't buy that. I do think the concern for injuries is legit. I do think that honestly, so Caleb and DJ Moore and Rome and Cole Kmet and these guys, they're obviously we want to see them play. If they the O-line is kind of the big injury concern for me. If we lose a Joe Tooney, if we lose a Drew Dahlman or something like that, then we're kind of right back to where we were last year. So that's the one thing I can be all right, that's fair. Because offensive line, you can have the most vanilla game plan, but someone's leg whips up on you and you tear your ACL, you're out for the year. It's just such a dangerous position. So I'm okay with the O-line not playing, but I wish the skill guys could have gotten there. That's all. But
yeah.
But guess what, boys? We're getting our wish this week because Ben Johnson has come out and said that the Bears are starting their starters in week 2 against the Bills on Sunday Night Football, where the Lavers family will be in attendance for the first half.
Game's over, kids.
Yeah,
7-7. Yeah, exactly. The first half, that's how you explain football to them. It's over in the first half.
Before we dive into the starters playing what you want to see, can I just tell you how much of a colossal mistake I made buying tickets to this specific game?
Yes,
I bought tickets to this game. I bought tickets to this game because I want to see the starters. I thought there was a decent chance the starters wouldn't play in week 1, which I ended up being right about. But I told you guys this already, didn't realize it was a night game. There are never primetime games for preseason. What are we talking about? That's never been the case. So it's a 7:00 game in Chicago. Chicago's about an hour and 20. South Loop is about an hour and 20 minutes from my house. So that's going to suck. 2, it's the Air and Water Show this weekend. Didn't know that either. So it's going to be an absolute nightmare downtown. The game starts at 7. I think the gates open at 5. I'm probably leaving my house around 1 till I get down there. It's going to be a crazy day. But anyway,
are you going with the missus? Or are you doing a solo dad trip?
Nope, all 4 of us. Me, the wife, both the boys.
Well, that makes it better. Honestly, it does.
Totally, it does. And it's going to be good.
I mean, not much better. It's still going to be. It's going to be tough. It's going to be
for
tough.
sure. There's going to be a lot of time in the car for sure.
Yeah, Papa's Xanax or something.
But in regards to the game itself, right? So we talked about the starters are playing. We know they're not going to come out here, like I just said, with Ben Johnson's complex offense. What you can take it as specific as you want. What are you looking for out of the Bears, whether it's the offense or the defense? What are you looking for the starters outside of staying healthy? We all agree staying healthy is number 1. So what are you looking for from the starters? You can go vague, broad, whatever you want.
Sure. So I'll keep it simple. I just want to. This is what I wanted to see. This is why I wanted to see Caleb have more reps with the skill players too. I just want to see the timing look clean. Yep. Even if I don't even care about the accuracy of the ball. I want to see clean dropbacks, ball out on time. I want to see chemistry being able to be developed. I want to see pre-snap motion under control. Right. I mean, they got a rookie tight end that's coming in. They got a rookie slot receiver that's coming in. And a new offense, there's a lot of pre-snap timing that needs to be ironed out.
Yep.
And I just want that to look clean, right? If Caleb's missing a guy who's open, right, that's obviously going to be concerning, but it's not the end of the world. It's preseason. You can dust off that rust, but the stuff that needs to look tight is that pre-snap control, getting out of the huddle, making sure we're not getting delay of game penalties and false starts, like all that stuff that is just so important that can put you behind the sticks, or kill a play, right? The motion's inaccurate, or they're killing a play and someone's running the wrong route. That's the kind of chemistry that needs to be developed, and that's what I'm looking for in preseason game 2.
Yeah, no, that's well said. I think, all the pre-snap like there's a lot of motion in Ben Johnson offense, a lot of pre-snap motion, so we want to clean that up. And then also, like you said, the penalties, we want to make sure we, minimize false starts, illegal motions, illegal shifts, all that stuff. We want to make sure we minimize that. It looks like based on the game that we saw, there's another effort by the NFL to try and like really crack down on the offensive tackles playing further away from the line of scrimmage. So we want to make sure that we, get them in the right position. I do think after like week 3 or 4, they won't care anymore and you can kind of cheat back a little bit. But like for those first like month of the season, we want to make sure we follow the letter of the law there. Drew, I'm going to ask you the same question. Starters are playing. What do you got? What are you looking for? What do you want to see?
Yeah, I agree mostly with Jason of just the little things, the schematics, the logistics, like all of that meshing. I don't need to see dynamic plays. Yeah, it's great in a highlight package when you're watching the 12-minute after you haven't watched the full game. More I want to see cleanliness of pockets, that sort of stuff, like do your job sort of thing, so that the basicness of football can come to play. And you can actually run an offense, whether or not that is successful or not in the completions and the yardage and the first downs and the touchdowns. I don't care. Just to be able to play football soundly, safely, and like what you're doing, like you're a professional. That's ultimately what I want to see the most. Yeah. And yes, I'll keep echoing it. No injuries.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely number one. And then, so for me, I'm going to stay very simple here. We want to stay in. We want to stay ahead of the sticks. We want to make sure. Like my big thing is, I want to see the Bears minimize loss, minimize penalties, minimize plays where there's no gain or a loss. I want to minimize 3rd and longs. I want to see 3rd and manageable. It's preseason, so if they, like you said, Caleb misses a throw on 3rd and 4, that's fine. If they get 3 yards on 3rd and 4 on a run play or something like that, like that's fine. I just want to see 3rd and manageable. I want to see, because that's the kind of stuff that you can really see, like, okay, they're building something here. If you can consistently get to 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, that's how you make sustainable offense. That's how you score touchdowns. So that's what I'm looking for. And then the defensive side, honestly, like, it's really simple here. I want to see the defense just like flying around hitting people. Like it sounds like they're doing in practice. That's all I want. It's like I want to see Dennis Allen just on the sideline, just watching them like fly around and just hitting people. That's all I want. So
it's also a Sunday night into a short game Friday. So again, this might be the only opportunity we've got the starters. So just do your job. Do your job. Get your reps.
And I would bet this is the only opportunity we see the starters. I bet they're not going to play next week.
Because you're going into another night game Friday, into a long hold off into a Monday night game. How the heck there's 3 Bears night games in a row? Just interesting. An interesting little layover there, but yeah,
the NFL wants their product on TV. And Friday night games, if you look at the preseason schedules, like Friday at 5, at 7, at 9, and Saturday, it's like a college game day slate of preseason games. It's insane.
Feed us our slop. We'll eat it.
Yeah, I know. We will. From a trough. Ooh, slops.
All right.
Now, Nick, one last call out too. You got to do your job. This is the most important thing that I want to see from this game. And it has nothing to do with the Bears team. It's about you. I want some juicy content out from Soldier Field on Sunday night with the Lavers family on that BQ Insta and all of our socials.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get a nice selfie with Staley, and we'll make sure we get some stuff out there for the BQ listeners or viewers, I guess now.
Ooh.
Not just listeners anymore. We got viewers now.
Do the boys have all their swag? They're ready to go. They got their jersey.
So I will say that Jack, my oldest, he specifically he's more of a lot of his Bears gear is like sweatshirts, so probably gonna have to ditch that. He does have like a Bears jersey. It's like those like Halloween kits that come with like the plastic Bears helmet.
Yes.
So he's got like the generic Bears shirt that came with that, and he can iron a number onto the back of it, and he chose number 18. So I'm pretty excited that he gets to go, and Caleb's gonna play. So I think he's really big on picking his favorite players right now. Like Kyle Tucker's his favorite Cub, which I don't have the heart to tell him is playing terribly right now. Or like he loves Caleb Williams. Like whenever he sees Caleb Williams on TV, he gets really excited. So I think when we get there, he's gonna be pumped for that. So I'm pretty excited. It's cool. They've never been to a football game before, so it'll be a good experience, I think.
Huge moment, dude. That's gonna be great.
Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good. But Drew, why don't we kick it over to you?
Yeah. So we'll just toss it around the league really quickly after the first week of preseason. I don't think there's much to really stand out in the realm of like teams or anything like that. A couple of highlights, like a 70-yard field goal, which is crazy to see out of Camp Little. Like that was amazing. I just kept seeing would be a NFL record.
Yeah.
It's like, that sucks. That guy kicked it in the preseason. Like imagine Duval marching you out there for a 70-yarder, you hit it, and it doesn't even go down in the record book. So thanks a lot, coach.
I will say like a 70-yard field goal. So you break that down, you're basically kicking it from midfield, or the ball is at midfield. Not even at midfield. Mm-hmm. You're kicking it on your side of midfield, like is where the ball gets to. You're kicking it from your own 40-yard line.
40-yard line.
The ball's actually down.
Yes.
So if this guy can make a 70, I mean that ball had legs too. It could have probably been good from like 73, 74, maybe even 75. If you have a kicker that can make 75-yard field goals, that kind of changes the game, right? I mean, that's crazy.
The damn kickoff happens from the 35.
I know.
Yes.
Not to go down this rabbit hole, but could you imagine if we had a kicker that could make 70-yard field goals when we had Devin Hester as our returner? We wouldn't have even need to run an offense. If you score a field goal every possession, you're probably going to win. So I think that would have been pretty good. Anyway,
we don't have to go down this rabbit hole, but I think it brings into account, like, if this keeps happening and that becomes a thing, I guarantee you the next thing the NFL is going to do is they're going to change the footballs out.
Or they're going to narrow out like the goalpost or something like that.
Yes, or narrow the goalpost, or they're going to change the football out on kickoffs and field goal attempts to where they can't do that because you want to see offense and all of that. But
no, for sure, I get that. But
as a Bears fan, kick a field
never
goal
privy to any
on
offense.
Your side of the,
I'm very as a Bears fan, I'm very excited for like elite kicking. That's something attainable. I feel like it's like a 4,000-yard passer, probably not, but a long field goal, I could see that happening.
Remember?
Well, I can assure you, Nick, if Cairo's the kicker, we ain't gonna attempt anything 52 plus this year. So I'd rather go for it on 4th and 11. So, they're just a couple of quick questions I have for you guys after this first initial week of preseason. Jay, did anything change in your mind for your full season predictions? Did you see anything that really stood out? Did it make you feel any sort of way when you watched first week of preseason or looked at anything?
Well, I liked it was unfortunate because Landon Dickerson got hurt and out for the year, but I was like, hey, I didn't pick them to win the AFC North, and maybe I Nostradamus something over there, but no, nothing that changed the predictions for me in the preseason. I don't think there were a ton of notable injuries, right, that would really reshuffle kind of a deck. So nothing other than, I'm just looking at my bold pick was not to have the Ravens win the North, I guess, and it's not that bold, and I guess that correlates a little bit, but nothing fun to throw your way on that one.
Gotcha. And Nick, the injuries point that Jay went into, did you see anything major out there, or did you see anything major in first week or practices that that stood out to you other than maybe the Landon Dickerson thing?
I mean, nothing. I mean, you have it listed. Rondale Moore, heard him like he's out for the year. That's a bummer. I remember I watched his game at Purdue when they beat Ohio State, like, I don't know, probably like 5 years ago now. Then he was just electric. Like, I've watched that game. Like, this might be the best wide receiver to ever come into the NFL. Like, when he comes up, it's going to be awesome. But it's a bummer. Jordan Love had a procedure on his thumb today.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's going to be devastating out for the season. Hate to hear that. No, he'll be back for week 1. But yeah, I mean, week 1, the starters played for half the teams, like Jay said, and of those teams, they maybe played like a series or two. So really nothing changed my mind NFL wise, nothing really injury wise, besides the ones that have already been mentioned, jump out to me.
Gotcha.
One thing, just so I can organically kind of get my fuck you to Paul out, was
Fuck you, Paul.
He was texting about how he was betting on one of the preseason games, Lion Falcons, and the game got suspended due to an injury on the field.
Yes.
And he was just immediately texting, "This better be void." That tickled me a little bit. I actually don't know what happened. We gotta follow up with Paul and see how his bet was.
Oh yeah,
there. But that's
I appreciate the degenerateness of betting on preseason football, but that's what you get. That's what you get.
Yeah.
when you're going to those lengths. I mean, when we saw some of the tickets he was putting out with money lines on preseason, it's just like, okay, yeah, you deserve one of those. So the other things around the NFL, it seems like the Micah Parsons news is kind of dying down. It seems like they've probably gotten into, he had his 15 seconds of look at me, I want some more money, please give me that. But another transition, Cam Hayward is looking to potentially sit out the season for Pittsburgh. So Nick, I want to kick it back to you of like, what's the likelihood of these guys, him, the guy out of Trey Hendrickson, Terry McLaurin? I know we touched on it in episode 1 last week, but what's your likelihood of these guys coming back to their teams or playing this year?
Generally speaking, when this stuff happens, I typically like to I typically think that, like, at the end of the day, they're going to get something done. I think honestly, Jerry Jones kind of set a trend last year and he signed CeeDee Lamb to that monster contract like 20 minutes before the kickoff of their first game of the season, just so that he could be in the headlines. And I think that probably will happen for a lot of these guys as these contracts will get signed like at the 11th hour. I do think Trey Hendrickson's a different situation because I do think the Cincinnati Bengals, even though I like a lot of their players, I think their ownership is absolutely the worst in the league, and that's really not for debate. I mean, their rookie defensive end that they got to replace Trey Hendrickson, they tried to put that new clause into his contract. So if he ever violates any kind of rules, whether they're NFL rules or like laws, they can like void the whole contract and cut him. And it's just like crazy. Like the Bengals are a joke in their front office, and they're not their front office, but their ownership. So the Trey Hendrickson one is the one where I could legitimately be like, all right, I think he probably would be happier not playing football than playing for the Bengals. So I could see that one. But like Terry McLaurin, Micah Parsons, Cam Hayward I feel like he's been on the Steelers forever. Like these guys, I feel like will work something out. I just feel like that's just going to happen.
Sure.
The Cam Hayward one stuck out to me. This might be the oldest player to ever have a holdout. Like he's 36. I don't know what your options are. Like just sit out a year and then go to the retirement home. And I say that half jokingly because I love Cam Hayward. He seems like a stand-up guy, one of those just Steelers through and through. So like there's one half of me that's like, hey, if you're Steelers ownership, just like reward your guys. He's been a dog for a long time and he's awesome and he's a good guy. But from the business side of things, it's like, I don't know, dude, you're 36. So like what kind of leverage are you playing with here?
Right.
So that'll be interesting to see how that one pans out. It's more of like a emotional story than anything else. But I mean, shit, he's signed on for 2 more years. And it makes sense that he would want more money, but it certainly makes sense if you're the Steelers to say, hey, dude, you're getting 20 mil and you're ancient. And I don't know.
We don't know
signed a deal that we made. Yeah.
I do think there's something, and this kind of applies to Cam Hayward more, but it also applies to Terry McLaurin, right? Because Terry McLaurin is what,
Yeah.
like 32, something like that?
Yeah, he's
31?
surprisingly older than I thought.
Yeah. So, like, these guys are clearly, like, they're trying to get, like, one more big payday before, like, they kind of taper off in their career. Terry McLaurin and Cam Hayward both are guys who have played for one team in their career for a long time. And Terry McLaurin specifically has played for some bad teams. PFT on Pardon My Take always says how he's the only player that is a Redskin football team commander player because he was on all three iterations of that team.
You got through that.
So I think there's something beneficial to your team down the line to like taking those guys who have dedicated so much time and energy to your team and been such a good role model, such a good leader, to like just pay those people, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're a free agent and you see, oh man, Cam Hayward's been there for like 15 years or whatever, however long he's been there, and they're kind of like being weird towards the end. And I don't know if that's like a place for me, but if you're a free agent, and you say, oh, you know what? Cam Hayward just got an extension, even though he probably isn't going to see the end of that. That was a really cool gesture by the Steelers to like give the guy who's been like their defensive leader the last 15 years, like, you know, a good, like a nice big contract on his way out. So I do think there's a lot of benefits to an NFL team for paying your older, like more like the ones that have been on your team for longer. I think that that's something that like a more progressive owner should be like thinking about instead of just saying like, this guy is 36. He's not going to be good for much longer. So he's not worth this money. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I know exactly what you mean. I think that's a great point too. I mean, it's you know, you have that culture, and then your free agents are going to want to come there. So it's kind of future proofing things by investing maybe poorly in a contract on paper, but really wisely in the long run to set the culture of, hey, we're gonna treat our players right. So come on over.
It's the NFL. There's $1 trillion going around. Like, what are we talking about? A couple $1 million? Like, that's crazy.
For real. Yeah.
I think that's likely for a Tomlin run team like Cam Hayward might be doing for Pittsburgh, but I don't know about Terry McLaurin. We'll see.
Yeah.
So, and then Jay, the last part of around the league, and I want to kick around to you because you brought it up. You brought it up earlier in conversation. Like, why is it that these guys always are getting trouble in the offseason? I know we are like a lot of it's driving. I just like, what's going on? Find yourself a driver. But Jay, can you just like, can you talk to these guys from a standard human being for a second and tell them like what's going on with these speeding drivers, these domestic violence things? Like, what's going on here?
God, I'll hit on the well, shit. Maybe I'll rewind that. I will address the speeding ones. Maybe I'll let the domestic stuff be for this week. I was thinking about it when I was going through. It's like, man, I went on ESPN right before we went on the show. I was like, oh man, the Browns aren't doing so good. Like maybe we need to do a sin bin section on like NFL players or whatever. But for Myles Garrett, this is his 7th like really aggressive speeding violation in the last like couple of years. Like I know for a fact we talked about this last season during the show. It's like, how is there not someone, an agent or an entrepreneur that's like, I am the Uber for millionaire sports people, and you just ride in the back seat and do whatever the fuck you want, but just don't drive the car like 100 miles an hour for like the dozenth time. So I don't know. It is what it is. You got that much money. You're young. You're feeling invincible. That's the only thing I can kind of put it down with. I wouldn't know that feeling, so I can't really relate. But God, you know, I don't know.
Or get these guys like a fucking drag strip for themselves. Like just plow down a road with the really infinite amount of money that you have. You can drive 500 miles per hour there, but like, good God, just don't like that. We've seen it in the NFL of people ruining their lives, going to jail, and all of that stuff. Like that's the easiest. It's the easiest solution. to
Yeah.
it. Have somebody else drive you. I know it's you play in the NFL. You do not need a adrenaline rush by driving a car fast. So.
You know, I mean, Miles doing that, it's like there's been plenty of guys, NFL careers, lives ruined by doing something. You know, it's a numbers game. And when you're driving that recklessly, when you're getting pulled over 7 times, you haven't only done it 7 times.
Right.
You know? And then B, it's, you know, you didn't hurt anyone or kill anyone this time. And you just got to reel that in. But anyway, not to get too somber.
That's our new idea. Maybe our $1 million, $1 billion idea is we're Ubers for athletes.
Yes.
Let's go do it, guys.
Yeah.
Create the gold standard service. So
yeah.
That's really all that I had around the league, although we are going to go into our way too early predictions, which we did do the divisions last week, and we're going to get into our playoff brackets, which I'm going to share. But Jay's got a new little ditty for us here in the sponsorship section of the way too early projection. So Jay, tell us a little bit about who's sponsoring that.
Yeah, I do. This is a nice new little ditty. It hits close to home, but our way too early season predictions are going to be brought to us this week by a new, exciting, and local churro shop. That's right, churro shop, folks. Lola's Handcrafted Churros in downtown Lyle, my hometown. This place is quite literally off the hook. It might sound crazy, but these are hands down the best churros you're ever going to eat in your life. Possibly even the best dessert you're ever going to have. Lola's, they offer up handcrafted churros, obviously, but not the kind you're thinking of, you know, State Fair or the ball game, the old crusty ones. These things are coming out piping hot, fresh to order. It doesn't stop there. Lola's pairs up these bad boys with ice cream sundaes. I'm talking s'mores, churro sundaes, matcha, fruity pebbles, Nutella, and strawberry. The list quite literally goes on. You can get a sundae, get a dozen, just stop in for one. Whatever you do, you're going to love it. They have coffee, horchata, freshly made churros, ice cream. As a wise man once said, what more could you want? Check them out at Lola, that's Lola, churros.com. Follow them on Insta and TikTok at Lola's Handcrafted Churros. And let us know if you like it. And Drew, I'll toss it over to you for some of our predictably smelly predictions for the season.
Yeah, call me Walford Brimley because I got diabetes just from not reading right there. That was good. That's good. I want some churros. I want some freaking sugar right now. But let's kind of wet everybody's beaks here. I'm gonna get into the brackets that we all have here. I laid out Nick's, yours, Jay, mine, and Nick. I'm gonna kick it to you first to kind of give us your wild card round from both sides. Looks like you had Bills on a bye, Jags, Ravens first round matchup, Chiefs, Chargers first round matchup, Bengals, Pats first round matchup from the AFC. So give us your picks through those.
All right, AFC wildcard round. I'm gonna go pretty chalky. I'm gonna take Ravens over Jags. I'm gonna take Bengals over Pats. I do think Chargers Chiefs is a really good game. It's a divisional game. Those two teams know each other pretty well. I do think the Chiefs' playoff experience is gonna put them over the top. So I'm gonna take the Chiefs. So I'm gonna go Ravens, Chiefs, Bengals in a very chalky AFC wildcard round.
Okay, well, that's going to get you into a Ravens-Bills matchup and a Chiefs-Bengals matchup. So
I love both of those games.
Yeah, that's what the people want.
So just hold on to your next round for the AFC, but go into your NFC breakdown.
Yeah, NFC. Okay, I got 2 divisional matchups in my wild card round. I didn't realize that. So Rams-Niners. I do think that's going to be an interesting game. Really, the big key out of this game is going to be how healthy is Matthew Stafford. I think Matthew Stafford is currently seeking alternative treatments to his many injuries. I don't know if you guys saw that article. He's got some weird trailer next to the Rams training facility, and he's in every day. Don't love seeing that. Yeah. You know how old he is? He's our age. He's 37.
Yeah, well, in
Yikes.
NFL years, the NFL years are like dog years. So that dude's like 67.
Also, I can't get out of bed without there being pain somewhere. So I can't. We do slightly different jobs, but it still hurts a lot. So anyway, in this game, I am going to take the 49ers. I'm going to take the Lions to avenge their divisional loss to the Commanders last season, and I'm going to take the Bears over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which I didn't plan on picking the Bears. I kind of forgot that I put the Bears in the playoffs, but I like the Bears against the Bucs, so I'll take that.
Okay. You said Rams over Niners or Niners over Rams?
Niners. I got Niners.
Niners over Rams. Okay. Which brings you to a Eagles versus Bears. Whew. We all know. Yep. We'll go back to it, and then Lions versus Niners. So,
yeah.
All right. I like the way that's turning out. Jay, I'm going to kick it to you here. We've got your wild card round in the AFC: Texans versus Bills, Pats versus Ravens, Bengals versus Broncos, and Chiefs on a bye. So, walk me through what you got in the AFC.
Sure. So, Bills, Texans. It's Bills all the way there. Gets us to a juicy Chiefs Bills matchup. Pats Ravens, this would be in my bracket, this would be a home game for the Pats, but I am not moving them on. The Ravens are going to move along to the next round. And then Bengals Broncos. And this one, I actually have the Broncos moving on around. I just, for whatever reason, I'm in love with the Broncos team this year. So fade me.
So just a reminder, I believe it's a reshuffle. Lowest seed will play highest seed, so that would be the Broncos taking on the Chiefs.
Yep, good point.
Broncos taking on the Chiefs, Bills taking on the Ravens for you in the AFC right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's your way too early prediction. I'm not gonna comment on it. But take me through your NFC. What you got going on there with the Falcons versus the Cowboys, Eagles versus the Rams, Niners versus the Packers, and then Lions on the bye.
I don't know. Just seeing the Falcons versus the Cowboys in a playoff round is really embarrassing. I don't know why I did that, but I'm forced. My hand is forced, and we're gonna go with the Falcons, and we're just gonna play the game. We're gonna shouldn't have the Cowboys in there to begin with. So
okay,
we'll move on without comment there. What do I have next? Eagles and Rams. The Eagles are moving on from that one. I mean, Nick, you kind of laid it out there, but you got to go kind of chalky with the Eagles there. I think my favorite wild card matchup that just so happened to be the case is 49ers Packers. Every Packers worst nightmare. The 49ers in the playoffs. So we're going to move the 49ers along.
All right. That would set you up for a Eagles, Niners, Falcons, Lions matchup in the divisional round. Really quick, I'm just going to hit mine. Wild card, I have AFC Texans versus the Chargers in the 4-5, Bills versus the Chargers in 3-6. I should have been saying this to you guys the whole time, and I apologize. And then Ravens versus Jags in the 2-7, Chiefs on the bye. I'm going with the Chargers in the Texans versus the Chargers. I like the Chargers a lot this year. I think Jim Harbaugh gets over, not over his hump, but kind of gets into some things. I like Omari and Hampton. Bills just look so not polished, but I've been watching have you guys been watching any of the Hard Knocks with the Bills yet?
No, honestly, I got to get on that.
I haven't watched a second of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing to binge when you don't have a lot of time, but Josh Allen memes and Josh Allen clips have just been hitting hard so far. And then I'm still staying with favorites of Ravens Jags, so that sets me up for a Chiefs versus Chargers divisional matchup in the divisional in their own division and the division of the playoffs. I put the Chargers twice for me, but whoops. Bills versus the Ravens in the other matchup of the AFC runs into wild card of the NFC Bucks versus Niners in the 4-5, Rams versus the Falcons 3-6, and Lions versus the Bears, which would be a divisional matchup, and the Eagles in the bye. So I'm with you guys. I like the Niners this year, which is scary because we got to play them this year. So I'm taking them in the 4-5 matchup. Somehow I think the Rams are going to make a 3 with Matthew Stafford's interesting situation, but I'm going to pick the Falcons. I kind of I'm buying into the Falcons Kool-Aid so far this year, which is concerning, very concerning. When Michael Penix goes down, it's going to be a problem. And then I'm just going to pick the Bears because I can't have the Lions, and I want to have the conversation with Nick about the Bears facing the Eagles round, like we will both have in the setup. So, be an interesting setup if that happened. But I'm gonna go back to Nick for your divisional picks here, Nick. So you've got AFC Bills on the bye, the 1 seed playing the Ravens. Who you got there?
Man, if this is the last 4 in the AFC we get, we are going to be in for a treat this year because this is all anybody wants to see, right? These 4 teams. This is what we're all expecting. This is what we want. So I'm going to take the Bills over the Ravens in a very, very highly contested game, and I'm going to take the Bengals over the Chiefs in a not so highly contested game. I think the Bengals are significantly better than the Chiefs this year. So give me the Bengals Bills, which is an AFC Championship game I would love to watch, by the way. That's going to be awesome if that happens. Yeah. So that's my AFC Championship right there.
I think that's what kind of the NFL would like too.
Oh, yeah.
But your AFC, like you said, anyone would love to see those 2 games. On the opposite side of things, I think, NFC, they'd like to see that too. But take me through what you got between Eagles, Bears, and Lions 49ers.
All right, so I'm going to start with the Lions 49ers. I think the 49ers are going to be better this year, but I also think that I don't think the 49ers are as good of a team as even we thought they were last season. So I think the Lions, like I've said before, are going to take a half step back. I still think they're a damn good team that can still go to the NFC Championship game. So I'm taking the Lions here over the 49ers. And then in the most anticipated playoff game of all time, Bears versus the Super Bowl champion Eagles, I'm taking, and I love the Bears, but I'm taking the Eagles to just absolutely destroy the Bears. The NFC playoffs are not going to be fun to watch.
No, it's tough sledding in the NFC.
Yeah.
And if that plays out the way that you have it predicted, Nick, that's the NFL dynamo right there. They love to see the matchups that you have presented for them. So we'll get back to you in the prediction of the championship and Super Bowl in just a second. Jay, getting into your divisional, we've got Chiefs versus Broncos and Bills versus Ravens. Still great too. What do you got there in the AFC?
So this is where I'm going to keep on the Broncos train. I think that the Chiefs have a letdown in the playoffs. I think that they do great during the regular season, but I really like this Broncos team. I know I have the Chiefs as the number 1 overall seed, but I'm just not sold on them. I think there's going to be a little Super Bowl hangover, and the wheels start to get a little rusty. So I'm going to move the Broncos along. Bills, Ravens. I mean, this could be the AFC Championship game, right? I mean, it could, but I'm in love with this Bills team, so I'm going to move the Bills along. I think this could be their year. So Bills over the Ravens, but that to me is going to be the highlight game of kind of the playoffs. If that is able to, obviously we're doing predictions, but even if whatever round that is, I mean, that's just going to be an electric factory.
Yeah, agreed.
You both had it. You both had it in your AFC matchups, and yes, that's another thing. The NFL definitely wants to see quarterbacks in there, and those are 2 of the pristine top 4 quarterbacks in the league. And I think that was kind of a consistency in the AFC that we saw through most of our matchups. So, but moving on to your NFC, you got Lions versus the Falcons and Niners versus the Eagles. What do you got there?
Yeah, I'm a bit bullish on the Falcons this season. I have a play on their win total over, but I'm moving the Lions along. Right, I'm moving the Lions along here. Get to the NFC Championship game. I do agree with you, Nick. I think that they can take a half step back, but I don't think a half step back kills anyone in this NFC.
Right.
So I'm going to move them along. 49ers Eagles. This is a tough one. But I'm going to kind of bank on that Super Bowl hangover situation. It's really hard to get deep in the playoffs twice in a row. So I'm going to move the 49ers along here. Just more of a bet against the Eagles than for the 49ers, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We said it last week. It's scary to see the 49ers on your schedule when you were last in your division.
Yeah.
Because you're not gonna have 2 years of them being just a 5-win team. It's just not possible with the defense that they have, the structure that they have. Scary team to face, especially if I believe that would probably from your matchup. Yes, they would be home twice, Jay. So that'd be scary. Anyone to go out to California twice is a tough one for them.
And
so
a Saquon CMC, I mean, if they're both healthy, would be pretty fun to see in the playoffs too.
Yeah, for sure. My matchups: AFC Chiefs versus Chargers, Bills versus Ravens. We all had it. We all had Bills versus Ravens in the divisional, which is crazy to see. I am going to take, unfortunately, the Chiefs. Just their staying power and the way that Andy Reid just gets their teams always ready in the playoffs. Scary. I don't want it to happen, but it seems like it's inevitable as long as Patrick Mahomes is the quarterback and Andy Reid is the coach. So they haven't missed it in how many years since Patrick Mahomes maybe took over. So whatever, take the odds and go with the inevitable. Unfortunately, I'm going to disagree with you guys both in the Bills Ravens. I think Lamar can do it. I think he can. I think a second year with King Henry can get them over the hump. Harbaugh is hungry. Harbaugh wants it to happen. Their defense is still good. Either way, that'd be a hell of a matchup to see. And I'm going to go against the grain with you guys and take the Ravens over the Bills to be a Chiefs Ravens AFC Championship. And then we've got NFC Eagles, Bears, Niners, Falcons. Nick, I want to pick the Bears to go into and make up for what they did in the double doink, but it just can't happen against the Super Bowl, the former Super Bowl winners. And then I'm sticking with you guys too. The Niners just the polish can be there, so I'm gonna go Niners over the Falcons. I am bullish on the Falcons this year though with Jay. I do think they can put it together, especially in the Pooh South, but the NFC just seems so much more up for grabs than the AFC. So that they would get there potentially. But we'll get back to Nick. I want you to pick your championships and your Super Bowl winner out of this. So you got Bills versus Bengals in the AFC, Eagles versus the Lions in the NFC. Tell me who's winning and who's winning the Super Bowl.
All right. Okay, so easy. It's like the NFC. I think the Lions get past the Eagles, which is I think the Eagles are a better team, but I think the Lions is just. I think it's their time. The Lions are going to get to the Super Bowl this year, and then the AFC. Again, if my AFC playoffs play out the way I want them to, it might be the most entertaining football of all time in my mind. Bengals, Bills is like that. Those are like my two favorite AFC teams. I think I'm going to take Bills, Lions in the Super Bowl. One of those teams is finally going to win the Super Bowl, and one of those teams is going to have an absolutely devastating offseason where they got so close. And I'm going to take the Bills to win their first Super Bowl after going 4 times in a row in the 90s and losing all 4. Sorry, maybe next year Lions, but I got the Bills.
I'd love to see it. I would love to see that. I mean, I don't think
Bills,
anybody
Yeah, a
Anybody
Bills
would
Lions
cheer
Super
it.
Bowl would be amazing. Like,
Yeah.
one of those teams for like the crowd. I don't. Where is the Super Bowl this year? I don't know where it is.
Good
Is
question.
it Vegas? Is it in Vegas this year?
I want to say Vegas or California. I think it's
Either
West
way.
Coast.
Where at like Detroit fans and Buffalo fans, in particular, will just absolutely drink that table dry, or drink that city dry wherever they are. Like
Wow.
that city's that If the Bills win the Super Bowl, that city is going to burn. So
it's in New Orleans, so God rest our
oh,
souls.
good.
Even worse.
They can handle it. I think they can handle it. But anyway, yeah, Bills Super Bowl over the Lions.
Nope, sorry, that was where it was this past year. I am wrong. Don't know where it is.
Okay. Well, while I look that up, Jay,
In California, it's in Santa Clara.
Yep,
it's in. Okay, so it
It's in
is
San Francisco, Santa Clara.
Yeah.
wrong.
Wrong. So, Jay, getting into your final parts of the bracket, AFC Championship, you have Broncos, Bills, NFC Championship, Lions, 49ers. Who do you got winning those games, and who do you got winning the Super Bowl?
I really want to see a Bills Lions Super Bowl as well. I think
Yes.
that'd be outrageous. But I'm going against it. I'm putting this is the Cinderella story. The Sean Payton heel. Everyone can hate on him. I hate him. But I think the Broncos are going to make a weird one of those weird runs this year and get to the Super Bowl. And then Lions 49ers, everything should say, hey, the Lions shouldn't get there to the Super Bowl. They lost their coordinator. They lost Ben Johnson, the prize possession, but I'm putting the Lions in the Super Bowl as well. And I'm taking the Lions to win it all. Losing their coordinators and everything, but keeping their main head coach, Aiden Hutchinson, anchoring that defensive line. I got the Lions winning the Super Bowl.
Okay. Man, you're a Bo Nix guy, aren't you?
Well, yes, I am.
Oh, Bo knows. So I then getting into mine to round all of this off with our two early predictions is we've got the AFC Championship of the Chiefs and the Ravens, the NFC Championship of the Eagles 49ers. I have Birds meeting in the Super Bowl. I don't know if that's the first time Birds meeting completely, but that'd be interesting. So that would be the Ravens versus the Eagles in Santa Clara. And I do have Lamar getting over the hump with Derrick Henry. I like the way that they play football. I've got the Ravens this year taking down the Super Bowl. We'll look at this back and see how wrong we were at the end of the season. Just a fun little ditty we had here. And yes, this is all down on paper. If you're not watching on YouTube, we did create our brackets, so it's not like we're gonna forget about this. We will bring it back for all of you and show you how badly we missed this year, or how badly we succeed, or how well we succeeded and everything. So
one other thing really
things.
quick about this.
Yeah.
So if you like Drew's bracket, you can put a future on the Ravens Eagles Super Bowl at plus 1,900 odds. If you like my Super Bowl, you can take the Bills against the Lions at plus 2,700. If you really want the juice and you're following Jay, you can take Broncos Lions Super Bowl at plus 7,000, according to FanDuel. So if you like, I'm just saying that there's some money to be made there. One of us is probably going to be right. We're usually pretty good at this stuff.
Trust us. I'm a doctor.
Not a doctor.
Good call, Nick. That was great on the fly right there. So yeah, invest with us. We will bring you money. Don't come looking for receipts though. So that wraps up. I think next week we're going to go into some superlatives. We'll do some way too early superlatives and talk a little bit about that, but good job, boys. That was fun. That was a good thing. I'm going to toss it over to Jay to get into our fantasy section of whatever you got for us here, Jay. And I know you're going to talk talk a little bit about what we're looking forward to, because fantasy season is right here, right now.
Yeah, I mean, let's start off with that Guillotine Fantasy League that we just opened up. So if you're listening, please do join us. We'll get all of that out on socials, how to join. We'll elaborate into what the prize package is going to be if you're the winner and whatnot. But this is fun. I've never done a Guillotine League before. But the concept is pretty simple. And Drew, you need to walk me through the concept because I don't fully understand it.
I'm sorry.
My pants are down.
I should have teed you up a little bit earlier for that. But Guillotine League plays on the concept of your regular fantasy and Survivor. So what we're going to have, as much as we possibly can, we're trying to get 18 teams in here with 15 of you and then us 3. And we are going to do just a regular sort of snake draft towards everything. You're going to pick your players. What is going to happen is at the end of every week, the lowest team score is going to be eliminated from the league. So you're guillotine, you're cut off, you're done. And then what happens is all of your players go on free agency. So they will go back into the market to where everybody has their fab money, their free agent budget to bid on those players. And it continues to go every single week until there is one winner. So ultimately, once you get down to, the top 6, the top 4, top 2 teams, you're going to have 2 super teams just absolutely going at it, or super teams going at it based on the fab money that you have there. So it's kind of a fun new concept in the Survivor realm, but then also how well you can spend a fab budget, how well you can kind of make sure your waivers are out there, makes you want to pay attention every single week if you are continuing to make it. And if you get knocked out, you suck, and that's it.
So yeah.
So fun little ditty there, but Jay, sorry I didn't tee you up for that a little bit earlier to explain that. But I want to kick it back to you if you have any, fantasy touch points. I know we were talking a bunch about our dynasty last week and have had a lot of dynasty conversations this week. What do you got for us in Fantasy Corner?
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping that our dynasty draft would be going on this week for reasons that are well documented in a lengthy text chain. They are not. And the chaos that has been ensuing from that's been very fun to read and chime in on. But yeah, I mean, our dynasty league is going to start drafting the rookies. There's nothing better than having draft picks and stocking up for the rookies. So I'll just kind of pick off where we left off of last week. Anything in the last week of rookies rising, falling stock, getting elevated, getting down. I'll start with Quinshon Judkins because the news just came out that they've actually dropped charges for him. He still remains unsigned with the Browns, but that was an electric running back coming out. And I did a draft right after the NFL draft for a rookie league, and Quinshon went, I think, like 6th or 7th overall in that pick. And I'm seeing him at like 14, 15 because he's not on an NFL football team right now. Say you had a mid-second round pick and we had to pick, today. Are you splashing the pot now with that news, or is he going in the first round? What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, if there's no charges and he's gonna not have any disciplinary action, or even if he does get suspended a little bit his rookie year, like I definitely am interested in that. Like I made it very well documented last week that my running backs is a huge problem on my dynasty team. So anywhere I can find some value at the running back position, I'm going to be interested in. So yeah, I definitely think that that's something I have my eyes on for sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, Nick, we did make a little bit of a deal this week.
Bit of a deal. We did
make a dynasty deal, and I'm not trying to divulge any of your secrets. Moving up to 2 though for you,
yeah.
Is that putting in your realm of picks? Are you saying, hey, I gotta take a running back, or are you still looking at the board with the first 4 rookies that are out there to say, you know what, there is some good other talent?
I'm debating about what I can and can't say right now.
Yeah.
I have the second pick, so I pretty much can say whatever I want because we know Genty's going 1 pretty much. So, I mean, yeah, I came up because there was a specific player I had in mind, and I want him. And I thought, like in a lot of the mock drafts and like rankings I've seen, he's anywhere from like 2 to 3 to 4, maybe even in some. And I just wanted to kind of take all the guesswork out of it and make sure I get my guy. So the way I see it now, I either get my guy or I get Ashton Genty, which I'd be happy with as well. So that's kind of my mindset there. I moved up 2 spots. I moved up from 4 to 2. Swap spots with Drew, and I also gave up a late second rounder, I think.
Yeah, pick 18, I think.
Yeah, right. So,
yeah, no, I think you win. You definitely won that. I looked back at it, and I probably could have tried to pull your leg into giving me 14 instead of 18, but at the same time, what I looked in perspective was, for me, running backs they seemingly come out a lot. You need running backs for sure, and every year it seems like there's a few running backs out there that could be the guy or could take over a good position in starting. So I was like, you know what, I could get a guy that'll help my positional team, which I need everything. If you haven't looked at my team, need a lot of things. So move back. And then I think there's a lot of depth in the rookies, Jay. I do think there's a good amount of, no matter the position, there's 2 tight ends out there that are very, very desirable. The quarterbacks, they're not deep, but at the same time, they could have some advantage late in the rounds, late
value,
late value for sure. And then again, with running backs and wide receivers, you just don't know as rookies. Some of them are slated to be a wide receiver 2 for their team or a wide receiver 1 for their team. You just don't know what injuries are going to happen during the season to where a guy could just jump up and be the guy right away. So that's where I was like, you know what, let me move back and just keep getting assets as much as I possibly can. So hopefully it pays off in the end.
Yeah, I mean, you have a ton of first-round picks too, Drew. So you're looking pretty to reload quickly. We saw Jamie do that in this league just a year or 2 ago, where he had so many picks and he hit on. God, why do I keep on forgetting the Jaguars? I want to call him Brian.
Brian Thomas Jr.
Brian Thomas Jr. I mean, he's elite, and he got Brian Thomas Jr. I passed on Brian Thomas Jr. and got Bo Nix. I mean, that was like the first pick of the second round for Jamie. There's guys that just pop like that. You're in an interesting position at 4, Drew, because I mean that could be Cam Ward territory, that could be McMillan territory, it could be Henderson. The one guy that I really, really like, that I think has tremendous amount of value, maybe not immediately, but over the years, is on that Bucks team with some aging wide receivers. Egbuka, I don't even know how to pronounce. Egbuka. Yeah. I love him, and I see him kind of ranked in that mid first round area. But it'll be interesting. I love the draft. I love how we do the draft. It's you just fill out a spreadsheet at your own pace, at your own time. Some people take a little bit more time than others, especially in our league. But yeah, so we'll move on from the dynasty piece. I think we kind of touched on the strategy, and we'll touch more on this on the redraft league and the auction league. That draft is going to be, it's scheduled right now for the Tuesday before opening day, and we'll kind of fill in some additional episodes as that time kind of creeps up on us. But anything else, Nick or Drew, that you guys wanted to touch on fantasy wise?
I think I've been consuming a lot of fantasy stuff lately just because we're right up against the wire of all of these things are dropping, and it's going to happen within a week or 2 of all of that action. So I've been consuming a lot of it. I would love to, in the future, going forward, these next 2 preseason weeks, talk a little bit about, you don't have to divulge your draft secrets, but like who's a desirable for you in sort of redraft leagues, or your do draft lists or your do not draft lists that you're staying away from, because I think it'll benefit the listeners. It'll benefit kind of us of where we're thinking the league is going to go and who might stand out in the future. So I think that's a cool concept, but fantasy is hot. It's hot right now. I hope everyone's getting the jazzed feeling of setting lineups the week of football starting, that sort of like waking up before Christmas feel, where the first week is upon us and you got your lineup and you're tinkering and you're talking to everybody and who should I start. Those are some of the fondest memories I have of NFL Sunday. So I hope everyone's as psyched as I am.
Amen.
Yeah, I got my first auction redraft league on my draft on Saturday. So we're doing an in-person live draft, which is awesome. Love doing that. Saturday afternoon. It'll probably take like 6 hours. When you do it in person, it takes even longer than like the app does. So typically it's a long process. We take several breaks. There's food being catered. It's going to be a good time. So I'm very excited.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah. Yep, it'll be good.
I'm doing one last shout out before we get into our podium list is my redraft league next week they call it the Crave Case League, and the losers, the bottom two, buy crave cases for the entire draft. So it becomes a absolutely smelly room that just a bunch of gentlemen are farting out sliders the entire time. And you can only imagine how irritable a bunch of 30 to 40-year-old men get near the end of that draft. But it's fun. It's fun. Those are the good times, Nick. I can only imagine what you guys have in your room there over 6 hours. So
looking forward to it.
Get ready for fantasy, boys. But after fantasy, we're gonna get into podium lists, a staple here at Barely Qualified. If you don't know, we are choosing 3 picks, our gold, silver, and bronze every week of a different topic. This week is going to be in tandem with what's going on around the world. We've got our best back to school purchases / supplies, and that could be anything nostalgic that you guys have, or anything that you're purchasing for your kids, or anything you purchased in the past. So this week we are going to go gold, or the lineup is going to go. It is Jay, Nick, and Drew. That means gold starts out with Jay, Nick, Drew. Silver goes Nick, Drew, Jay. And bronze goes Drew, Jay, Nick. So, Jay, you're going to kick us off one of one right here and pick out the best back-to-school supply or purchase.
This was always my favorite thing to do at back-to-school time, especially in elementary school, middle school, if you will. But I was getting those new shoes. Those new kicks.
Oh, yep.
You know, and getting all ready for, the clothes is good, but there's something about the new shoes and going out with my mom, and she'd just say, hey, pick the shoes, but keep it within budget, but pick the shoes. And I was always a sucker for the Adidas, 3 stripes. I had Converse one year when I was in elementary school. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. And then everyone else had the exact same shoes as me. Was not as cool as I thought, but fresh kicks 1.1 on the podium list for me.
It's a great pick.
That's amazing. I didn't even have it, Jay.
Me neither.
And all I can think of is, I think those white Adidas, the navy stripe or the black stripe that you just mentioned, or like a fresh pair of Doc Martens.
Oh,
You're
sure.
getting ready to kick some shins. You're getting ready to steel toe somebody's ass right there. Oh,
just
that's
a
great.
tradition unlike any other.
Mm.
Oh, man. Get a pair.
All right,
I
Nick.
remember got a lot of like Etnies and like Vans and stuff back in my middle school days. Those were good days.
He's a skater boy.
I didn't skate.
Absolutely.
I didn't skate, but I liked the style. I couldn't skate to save my life. But all right. Me, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right, I'm gonna go with that new backpack. A nice, clean backpack. Gonna fit all your stuff in there. Typically, it's a solid colored JanSport. Usually,
Yes.
nothing crazy, but something about getting a new backpack. It feels good. So I'm taking a new backpack.
Nick, I had written down on mine backpack, JanSport or bust. That was the staple. One zipper, just one thing. That's what you got.
Yeah.
That thing breaks and it doesn't matter. You're wearing that thing to the bone.
Yeah.
One strap, two strap, whatever. I remember years where it was like North Face for a while, but the JanSport never goes out of style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had this, not to get too far on a tangent, but freshman year of college when Jay and I met, I had this backpack, and I thought, the coolest backpack in the world at the time. So to get into our little time machine here, this backpack, you could put your iPod, right? Because this is iPod time. You could connect it to the backpack. And then on the shoulder here, there was like a headphone jack. So you could plug your headphones into the headphone jack on the shoulder and have your headphones in and listen to your music. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. I don't think it ever really worked. And obviously was technologically like passed over very quickly. But at the time, it was very cool.
You could argue that's when technology peaked too. Is like you're just rocking and rolling until it doesn't work, but still, the concept is pretty elite.
Yeah,
it didn't matter if it worked. It was the extra features. The features sold it for sure.
100%.
Mine's gonna go a little bit younger than you guys on this. I remember one of my favorite things when we were grade school age, and maybe this is past, but it was the fresh either 64 or the 124 crayons, the multi-colors, like the every color under the book. I don't care what you named it. It might have been grass is green or something like that. Those things that just made school for me. Like asking your parents to buy you 64 crayons, which you're going to use maybe 3 of them through a time, but that was it.
Basically, the Corvette of crayons is the 64 pack with the crayon sharpener in the back.
I was going to say there was that one that had the crayon sharpener in the back, and that's like, yes, back to school, baby.
Yep.
It's a good pick.
Crayola did it right. They did it right. And all it was melted down rubber. All right. So that's going to bring us to silver, which you're going to kick us off to, Nick. You're going to give us your silver pick.
Oh, man.
Go ahead.
I'm very excited about this pick. I did not think it was going to get to the second round. So with my silver pick, I'm taking a Trapper Keeper. Just a nice, cool thing. You can make it your personality. You can put all your stuff in there. Never really used all the folders and pockets exactly the way you're supposed to. Just kind of like put everything in there and flopped it closed. But just the fact that you could like buy different designs and stuff like that and kind of have some personality on it. It was a very cool thing when we were kids. So that I'm thrilled to take that here.
That is a great pick. I definitely had that as my next one, Nick.
Yeah, I was gonna say binders, Trapper Keepers.
Yeah.
You got it, and I should have taken it, and probably could have gotten Crayola, but that's a damn good pick. So that makes what I have even harder to pick. I am gonna go back again for a school supply, very basic, and a early age. I was a sucker for a good pair of scissors. I was a sucker for
there you go.
Something I might not have been on your lists, but something sharp in my hands when I was younger. Like, yes, I felt like I had a sword in my hands with a good pair of scissors that could cut through any paper. A lot of times it got taken away by teachers, but I was going to have those damn scissors for at least 2 weeks before anything else happened. So I'm going with a good pair of scissors.
Man, a little side tangent here. When you guys were in elementary school, did you guys have the desks that just popped open and you keep all your shit in them?
I did some years I did, but other years it was like under the chair. You kind of put your books and stuff. But yeah, I did have a couple of years where we had the desk that popped up.
I don't know. I get nostalgic about that. I love that. I have dreams about that sometimes. Just like boop, just popping it open, hiding some snacks in there, eating an Oreo or two.
Oh yeah. The best was in high school, like those desks that were all like the desk part was like connected to the chair. You know what I'm talking about? Like kind of like a college desk. Those back, like the backrest of the chair were like the perfect back cracking like size. You could crack your back for like days on those things.
Amen, dude. God, well, I'll get to my closing thoughts, but love back to school season. Love back to school season.
Oh yeah,
very good stuff. All right, I'm up for silver, so I'm gonna go with a new lunchbox, but with a caveat that it has to be superhero themed, preferably Batman themed lunchbox. There is absolutely elite. I want that. You know, I've had many different lunchboxes, but I had one when I was in elementary school. There was like a hard case, and this was, you know, I don't know. Dad must have got a bonus or something because it was normally brown bagging it to school. But this year I had a hard lunch case, Batman the animated series. Absolutely elite, and it was my prized possession. So that's got to go for my silver.
Great show.
So good of a show.
Such a
the Joker. Oh my gosh,
Mark
Hamill, yeah.
Pointed ass nose. You can see him. You can see him in your peripherals now.
Yeah, it's good. Actually terrifying.
Yeah.
All right, so rounded out with bronze. I'm going to pick Jay, then Nick. My pick is going to be a more technological pick. It's going to be a new calculator, preferably TI-82, TI-83, those things. Type your boobies in there, type your anything, get your sine, cosine, tangent sort of run-ons that we all had in high school. That's my pick for bronze right there.
Dude, the TI-83 was basically AI back in the day. Like you put that in a freshman in high school's hands. It's like, what am I doing? And then inevitably, do you guys remember the baseball game that was embedded in that calculator? That's so awesome.
Remember there was a Galaga type game like called Phoenix that I played a lot back in the day of that. Baseball was fun.
They had Snake in there.
Snake.
Oh my gosh. Way to just kill time. That was like before cell phones were as technologically advanced as they are now.
Yeah. The amount of like every year in high school you had to take like a study hall at my school for like one of your periods. All I did in study hall was just play like Snake or like Phoenix or whatever baseball, whatever game on my computer. Or my calculator. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go Texas Instruments.
I did not have that on the list. What an omission. That was a great pick.
Yeah.
Great pick.
All right, Jay, what's your final bronze pick?
Yeah, I'm going to stay in an elementary school theme here, and I don't know why, but nothing hit quite like a glue stick for me. That's specifically the purple glue stick. I mean, that it just reminded me like a push-up pop, and I wanted to eat the damn thing. And maybe I did from time to time, but give me a good glue stick.
Maybe that's why you are the way you are right now.
It might explain
too
a
much
lot.
glue.
Yep. Had a glue eater run there. You know, not afraid to admit it. You got to do what you got to do.
Oh, man.
All right. How you going to round us out, Nick?
So I'm going to take, honestly, when you said school supplies, this that I'm about to take was the first thing that popped into my brain. It's a supply that I still use to this day. I'm holding in my hand right now. I'm going to take the Pilot G2, my pen of choice. I love a Pilot G2. If I have the choice of pen, it's always 100% going to be a Pilot G2. That's just that. If I have a pen that's not a Pilot G2, I like look for Pilot. I love these pens. Like I get mad when I don't have one. I try to find ones that are similar, but they never are as good. They don't write as clean. So Pilot G2 all the way.
I love it. There is something nice about a good pen, and it's like, you know, a wizard finds its wand, a student finds his pen. You know, you can't have it any other way.
Wizard Harry. Yeah, I had something very similar in like the Bic pencils
Yeah.
or the
Number
recyclable
2 pencil.
pencils. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although it was a bitch whenever those things ran out of lead and you were trying to suck the last life out of one of those or anything like that.
We're talking about the mechanical pencils.
Yeah, mechanical
Oh,
pencils.
okay, gotcha.
Oh, that's a great
Didn't even think about mechanical.
honorable mention because I mean,
Yeah.
you're just injecting heroin right in your veins. This is a fifth grader. We haven't seen this. You didn't, this is a weird.
These bad boys.
Yeah,
Yep.
there it is.
Yeah, baby.
There it is.
Ticonderoga just didn't. A Ticonderoga pencil didn't do its justice that a Bic pencil did. Any of you guys have some good honorable mentions out there?
I had a weird phase of those like the pop on erasers.
Oh, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely an honorable, not good enough to make the podium, but I don't know. I had a little run with those.
I definitely had like a pencil box. I always thought a good pencil box is a cool thing to have, but clothes, nobody mentioned new clothes. I mean, back to school clothes is always a cool thing, but
absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for podium list. We'll get that out to the masses on Instagram or socials. You can vote on us, tell us who had the best list, what we left off, any of that. Interact as much as possible. It's what we love in our podium lists, to hear your feedback. And that's going to really wrap up the Barely Qualified podcast this week. But we are going to close our thoughts here with you, and I'm going to kick it over to Nick first to give us his closing thoughts of this week.
All right. Well, before I get into my closing thoughts, Drew, congratulations on winning the last podium list according to our Instagram followers. So, Drew, you got 50% of the votes for your sequel list. Jay got 33%, and I only got 17, even though I thought I put together a pretty damn good list. But thank you guys for voting and listening. And when you guys see polls out there, make sure you vote on them and interact with us a little bit. But to get into my actual closing thoughts, got a harsh reality email sent to me. So, boys, this year is our 25th high school reunion. Don't know if you guys are aware of that or not yet. And we got my wife and I both graduated the same school, same year. We got invited to a Facebook group that is doing all of the 25th anniversary, or I'm sorry, is it 20th anniversary, not 25th?
20,
math,
yeah.
Math.
I was going to say 25, but hey.
20th anniversary. Apologies. So we got invited to all these events. They're organizing a big thing for like the homecoming football game. We're going to have like a bigger event in the summer. So just a 20-year high school reunion is crazy to me. Like, I feel like high school wasn't that long ago, but 20 years is a long ass time ago. That means I've known you guys for like 20 years almost.
Right.
That's crazy.
That is crazy, man.
So yeah, just realizing how old we're getting, and it's a real harsh reality, real hard pill to swallow, but it's all good. Reunion's gonna be fun. I'm not like going down a spiral or anything like that. It's all good.
That is wild. Yikes. 20 years.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yep.
It seems like yesterday sometimes, though, doesn't it?
Sure does.
Yeah. Well, I'll piggyback off of a school theme. And again, great podium list for a school theme. But today was my oldest daughter, Georgia's first day of kindergarten. So she went to the big girl school, elementary school. What an absolute blast. So we did a lot of this school supply purchasing, all of that stuff, getting her prepped and ready, new shoes, all that stuff that we were talking about. The most wild part to me was the way that our elementary school does it in Lisle is you can drop your kids off or they can take the bus. And we're having Georgia take the bus to school. So we, rounded up on the corner with some other folks that we know. She had a couple buddies that were able to go on the bus. And Margaret and I getting a little emotional. We walk up, and this is, our neighborhood's very friendly neighborhood. And someone came up to me and was like, "Hey, I'm Mike." And, he's another one of the dads. I was like, "Yeah, Jason." He's like, first time. You got a first timer." It's like something on my face just gave me away. Dead. And he's like, "Oh, yeah, fifth grader, third grader is like sick, dude." And he's a really good guy. But the best part was when Georgia went to go on the bus, me and Margaret were like, "All right, hey, wave." She just hightailed it to the bus, looked back, didn't even look back at us, didn't
Yeah.
wave or anything. She just got straight on the bus.
That's
And
awesome.
my psychotic mode, I was like, hey, Marg, let's go drop off Tess, our youngest one at daycare. And I was like, well, we're not dropping her off. And we just followed the bus to school, watched her get off the bus. I was like, I am doing this. So people are walking by like, hey, what are you guys doing here? You know, in the car window, like, yes.
I see you like
people.
You guys like parked in like the bus like lane at the school. Sorry,
Just outside of it.
Passing through.
Just barely legal. Just but it was a fun day. It was a good day. So picking her up too was really fun. Got to hear all about the day. It was very proud dad moment. So it was cool.
It's good stuff, man. That's awesome.
It's school season's upon us. It seems like it's snuck up before anything. You know, it doesn't even feel like the summer's over. But before you know it, it happened. I was telling you, Jay, earlier, like walking the dogs this morning, all the lines were out there for school. It's crazy. And seeing all the parents, I could only imagine how you were smiling ear to ear. And then your daughter walks off and she's like, yep, I'm an adult now. Goodbye. He's a parent. See ya.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I'm going to close with just got some news, some cool news. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Work at a golf course around here, Ruffled Feathers Golf Club. We are going to do something cool this year for a scramble during the Lions, not during the Lions-Bears game, but before the Lions-Bears game. It's going to be golf, and then we're going to show it up on the big screen at Ruffled Feathers Golf Club. You can purchase your tickets soon to get in on the golf, be a part of all of that at Ruffled Feathers, and play some good golf. I have the best memories of playing golf right before an NFL game and then watching with a bunch of buddies. So going to be a scramble, going to be out there. You'll see some things that I'll put out or we'll put out on our socials about that, of how to reserve a foursome or reserve your spot. Going to be a great time. It's going to be a fun experience of golf, Ruffled Feathers, and various different ways in which you can just interact with the NFL. So going to do that this year, and hopefully a lot of you can get involved and join us. Maybe the Barely Qualified podcast will be there, find a way to sponsor for something. But we appreciate you all for being here. I appreciate you, Jason. I appreciate you, Nick. As always, on the Barely Qualified podcast, we'll keep bringing you the preseason Thursdays, but we're going to get into the weekly previews and reviews once the season starts. But thank you again for listening. Thank you again for sticking with us on this live stream. We're going to continue to do that so you guys can see our beautiful faces every week. And as always, guys, we will catch you guys on the flip side, and go Bears.
Thank you for listening to the Barely Qualified podcast. Like, comment, subscribe for more on a bi-weekly basis.